Welcome back to Fantastic Fantasy. I'm Mike, and today on this video I'll be showing all of you how I scratch built these little windows. I'll be covering 4 different techniques, covering 4 different finishes. 1 clear, 1 dirty and cracked, and 2 different types of stained glass. So let's dive on in. And as always, you can find links to this project overview down in the description. I'll be starting this build with what's quickly becoming my not so secret weapon, the Cricut. Honestly, I know I don't own a 3D printer yet, but I'm thinking that the Cricut is just as good, maybe better, when it comes to crafting your terrain. I whipped up 5 basic shapes on Design Space real quick and I got to cutting. I'll be using my 16-inch balsa wood sheets like I did for the doors. In addition to that, I'll have the Cricut cut the plastic filming as well. This is used by a lot of crafters as the backing to their windows, and I'm gonna be doing the same. And regardless of the finish that you're looking for on these windows, we're gonna double up these frames by taking 2 of the cutouts and gluing them together with some Eileen's tacky glue. Then I'm gonna weigh it down and give it some dry time. So the first window finish that I'll be covering is this stained glass effect that I like to call the Black Magic stained glass. I'm gonna be naming it that because it's Jeremy's technique and I ripped it off from one of his other videos. I'll link it down below. The secret to this technique is in drywall tape. You're gonna take a long strip of this sucker, then you're gonna bring it outside and hit it with some good old-fashioned rattle can. Obviously, hit the side that's not sticky. Once you got your drywall tape all shiny and silver, you're gonna take it and you're gonna put it on your film. I like to put it on a 45-degree angle and then cut around the edges. Next, I'll add the stained glass by dotting in all the little squares with this Game Color by Wyloch. It's a wash. I don't really use this stuff at all because I don't really like to use acrylic washes on my build, but I have it, so I figured, meh, what the heck, I'll try it here. And the effect was okay. I bet you could find something that is better, and if you do, why don't you leave it down below so that I know. Once you have your stained glass effect finished, you can move on to the next step. And we're gonna take the wood frames and super glue them straight to the plastic. For this, make sure that your stained glass is face up so that when you're looking at the window, it's the right way. What I'll be using to achieve the glass-like effect is actually this dollar store 5-minute epoxy. It's really cheap and easy to get your hands on, but it's quick setting, and once it starts to get tacky, you won't be able to use it the way I'm using it here. Because you don't have much working time, I suggest you have all your windows that you're gonna do ready to go and to only squeeze out half a bottle at a time. All you have left to do is to give those windows 5 minutes to dry and poof, our first technique is over. For our next technique, we're gonna go over the other stained glass type. And this stained glass, I'm gonna be calling the Wyloch window. I chose to call it that because I honestly can't hear the words granite grating without thinking about them. And so to get started with this style, we're gonna take our wooden frames, super glue our transparent backing to it, cut some granite grating. A quick tip for cutting this material, I tried a few different ways and came up with the fact that a regular old pair of scissors is gonna work best for you. After you have your window frames filled out with granite grating, we're gonna take UV resin to fill all the holes. That UV resin I poured into small Dixie cups, and then I tinted each cup with an acrylic paint. When applying the resin, you're gonna undoubtedly realize that some of it is getting on top of the grating, and because of that, we're gonna throw in a cleanup step. All I'm gonna do for that is I'm gonna take my X-Acto knife and I'm gonna scratch off everything that is on top of the grating. Make sure that you've cured all the resin this way, because if you try to clean it up and then cure it, it's a real quick way to ruin the window. Okay? And after the cleanup phase, we're ready to paint. After painting, this technique is done. Now for our last 2 techniques, life just keeps getting easier and easier. When it comes to making the clear windows, all you gotta do is super glue the plastic backing onto your window frame and then add the 5-minute epoxy and boom, you're done. Before I go over the last technique covering that dirty, grungy, cook meth every day in your house kind of window, I wanted to take a moment to say thanks to all my amazing patrons, especially Michael, who pledges at the shop foreman level, so thank you. If you'd looking to join these heroes of might and magic, I'll leave the link to my Patreon down below. There for just $2 a month, you'll get access to all my plans on Design Space and access to the Fantastic Factory Discord. Now for this last technique, I can't take all the credit for it. One of my subscribers actually gave this material to me and I just decided to try it out. So I want to give a big shout out to Anne. Thank you for handing this to me. It came in real clutch right here. So the secret product is Crystal Glaze from the company Another Product. Now this stuff is quite honestly really harmful for you. It says it right on the bottle. It's extremely flammable and not to breathe the fumes and all kinds of dangerous health labels. And so obviously we're not going to be drinking it, but we're going to use it to create that crunchy cracked glass look. This has some dry time involved, but it's honestly as simple as applying it with a Q-tip. I applied it in 2 layers, one before I added the glass effect with the epoxy and one after I added the glass effect with the the epoxy. And you can see the finished results for yourself. All right, friends, I think that's everything for this episode. Remember to hit like, subscribe, and if you leave me a comment, I'll leave you a comment. And until next time, keep all of your fantasy fantastic.